Right then, people, welcome back to the Southampton Project, episode 3. You guys seem to absolutely love it, and we're going to do a quick recap for those that have missed it the past couple of episodes. So we'll cover what happened right towards the end of the last episode. If you haven't watched it, make sure you do go and watch that before this one. But as a little quick recap, we finished our second season in the Premier League in 10th place. Now, it was an improvement because we finished 13th in the first season back in the Premier League, and now we're up to 10th. It's still not exactly incredible, but it's a decent start. I will quickly say, if you do enjoy these rebuilds, please do leave a like and subscribe, and at any point you want to get the rebuild file or the tactic, go over to the Patreon. There's absolutely tons of cool content on there, including all these perks that have been on your screen now for the past few seconds. But the aim for the next season, obviously, is to build on this 10th place. There's no secret behind that, okay? We need to see progression. Now, I have gone a little bit into the future, don't worry, about 3 games into the future, and at the moment, we've played 3 games. We have won one, which was a 2-1 win away against Bournemouth. We've got a point against Brentford, and we have lost 2-0 away to Brighton. So nothing too crazy there, in my opinion. Quite normal stuff going on. Of course, we've got transfers to talk about, so let's go and do that right now. The first transfer is going to be Bidstrup. Obviously, we had him on loan. He now joins permanently, and we've also signed Dominic Barn, who is actually a bit of a regen, a wonder kid, and we spent a total of £24 million on him. Now, he has got an entire season to obviously improve on that, but a 6.8 is very good for a debut season, not only in the Premier League, but in England overall. He looks like a very good centre-back. He's not the quickest, but he's got good tackling, good marking, he's got the anticipation, decision-making, the aggression, and he's 19 years of age, so he is a really good option for this Southampton team. Now, it was no shock, okay, we had to go and sign this guy permanently because he is a serious player. I mean, for us last season, he contributed a 7.24, one of our best performers in the league alone by quite some distance, with 7 goal contributions, so I mean, it should come to no surprise that is going to be the reality of what we're facing. Now, when we actually look at what we've got to do, for example, the competition screen, we are playing in 3, competitions, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. Now, I think it's a decent entry to this season. We are predicted to finish in 10th place, which is exactly what we done last year. Now, in terms of players, let's go and talk players. Filter by the best 11, as this apparently is our best 11. It actually still has Diaz there. I still would put Marmoush there and Delap up front, but of course, last season, Delap was not as hot as the season before. As we can go and see, it's a bit of a drop-off. I mean, I say a bit of a drop-off. We're basing it off 3 games. To return 18 goals, he has got to really go and try and, I don't want to put a downer on it, but I don't think he's going to go and match 18 goals because I don't know. I don't get the feeling like he's going to do it. Behind him, Bellingham's been a mixed bag for me. He has been okay. Of course, he's a player that has been at the club now for quite some time, and he is doing very well, but I still am debating whether he is going to win me a Premier League title ever. I hope so, but he's progressed really quickly at the start. Now he's sort of just plateaued. He's sort of, like in the middle. He's not really improving, not really getting any worse, but the stats from last year are okay. Dibbling is a player that has come on leaps and bounds, doing a great job, and a player that, to be honest, I didn't even talk about in the first episode, so sorry about that, Southampton fans. Zacharias and Bidstrup make up a good midfield pairing in my opinion, and the back line is decent. Of course, we have got the new man now. We can put a centre-back as well in Barn, who probably will go alongside of Harwood Bellis. Bednarek, for me, is not a right-back that I want to play. I'd probably play Sagawa now, who is wanted by who? Wanted by a Saudi team. That is never a nice thing to see on your players, but he's an alright right back. The tackling's not exactly great, and if truth be told, he'd probably rather be here. But at the moment, Dibbling does get in over him. Walker-Peters will do a job, and Ramsdale, a man that apparently Manchester United want, remains in goal because he is doing a normal job, not doing anything great, but I mean, you look at him and he's dropping above a 7 rating. He's never going to keep tons of clean sheets because we're Southampton. We've got a lot to work on, so yeah, I think we go into the next season. As I said, we played these 3 games. We had a fantastic run in the friendlies. We actually were quite good at not conceding goals apart from this game here against LASK. Apart from that, a 3-0 win here, 5-0 win here, 7-0 win here, Delap bagging a hat-trick, which is always nice to see. The start to this season, Obviously, we have got some tough games coming up in the next sort of 4 games. We've got Arsenal, Tottenham in the Cup, and then in the Premier League, we've got Liverpool. So, I mean, in 4 games, we're playing 3 very, very big English teams. So, let's go a little bit further into the future, see what we can do. But the aim for this season, guys, is purely an improvement on 10th. If we get into 8th, I'll be happy. Simply improve. Right then, a serious bounce back in the Premier League as we don't only beat Arsenal, we absolutely batter them. Now, their team is ridiculous, okay? So the fact we've come here, we're at home. We come to our own stadium, turned up in a way that wasn't just to win the game, but absolutely dominate the game. I've not got a single complaint. That is 3 massive points after a very tough game against Brighton away, where unfortunately we lost 2-0. But every stat line in our favour. Then find ourselves against another London team, of course, in the Carabao Cup against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this game was never going to be easy because their squad quality is absolutely fantastic, and we go 1-0 down inside of 40 minutes there. And to be honest with you, this was a game which I never want to lose football matches. You're not a manager if you want to lose a game. But if there was a game which didn't go our way, I would accept going out of this cup purely because it does help our sort of run in the Premier League with less fixtures. But we find ourselves 2-0 down, so maybe we are going to be going out, sadly, right at the first stage of the Carabao Cup. But Sagawa is going to take on his man. Great ball in and a great goal there from Archer to get a goal back into the game. So we've still got a lifeline in this game until Tottenham decide to go and grab another one with Udogie into Basuma. A great little ball in. That's a fantastic ball. And Pedro Porro has a very, I don't even know why he's there, but he has an effort. Wirtz gets the rebound, and they don't stop there, Tottenham. They're absolutely relentless. A great ball in, and to be honest, it's a fantastic set piece. I can't blame Ramsdale for that one, and Tottenham just kept coming alive. At this point, we were down to 10 men as well, so that really doesn't help, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. Tottenham absolutely blitzed us. The only thing we could go and do is right at the end of the game, literally seconds before the full time, is go and grab a consolation, which was one of the more scrappy goals I think I've ever scored in my life, but we're out already. And the game against Liverpool went as we'd probably expect. Now, I will say, although we got dominated, they had 17 shots, which is really, really embarrassing. But we did register a couple of shots on target, but McAllister gets the winner, and it went probably exactly how you would have thought. Now, luckily for us, we sort of have won the games in and around that, okay? So we've won against Sunderland 2-0, which should be happening. We beat West Ham, and we beat Palace. So, by the way, Zacharias enjoying a really strong start to this season with 3 goals and 2 assists already. So a really, really strong performer. Now, this is okay, because at the moment we sit currently 3rd in the Premier League. Obviously, we're not going for the title or anything in this season, but this is what I mean. As long as you keep beating the teams around you, you can really start to progress. Now, another player that's doing well, and he did last season, is Fernandes, and I want to give him a lot of props, because there's a player that I didn't even really hype up too much, but he's already got a couple of goals, really, really showing what he can do, and hopefully we can take that form into the next couple of months as we play Newcastle, Everton, Tottenham, Chelsea, City, Nottingham Forest. We've got, again, a tough set of games, but it's the Premier League. There is no such thing as an easy game. The one positive, and it sounds really, really non-winning like to say this, is we are out of the Carabao Cup. Now, usually that would annoy me, and I'm a little bit annoyed at such an early exit, but it's one less competition to worry about. The FA Cup games don't come in for a long time, so these next sort of games we're playing, although they are tough games, we are going to have less games than what they're going to have. So there's no excuse to maybe not get a result against one of the big boys, and to slip up against like an Everton, like a Leeds, will not be acceptable. I will not allow it. But so far, so good. The players are doing all right. You can see the players there that I've decided to lock in personally. This means that they will play every game unless they're too tired or injured. These are my core batch of players. Let's carry on into the next month and hopefully maintain, well, this top 3 finish would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, I've just been looking through some of the games, and I tell you what, this was one of the best Football Manager games I think I've ever seen. A 9-goal thriller that we do go on to lose, but I can't be too annoyed, because I mean, they had 65% possession. They had 13 shots on target, 18 overall. We had 35% of the ball and 4 shots on target. We scored every single shot on target, which means we are clinical, but yeah, we got battered by Man City, and if that's a sign of things to come, we might be in trouble. The next big test, of course, is going to be Chelsea, a game which I said maybe we'd get something from. We failed to get anything from it, and once again, in terms of possession, we're really losing that factor now. We were a team last year that were having more possession than a team like Chelsea, like a Tottenham, Newcastle. This season, we don't sort of have that firepower and can really control games. So far, 2 big tests and 2 big failures. And once again, another test against Tottenham. That's, of course, now twice we've played them. They beat us 3-1. So this is really, really putting pressure on the other games now, to the point where we actually need to now beat the Newcastle and the Aston Villa that are in these batch of games, and also not slip up to the smaller teams, because we haven't managed to get a single point against one of the big boys, which I'm not saying should be expected, and I'm not saying that we're doing a bad job. But when you're playing in the Premier League, unless you can 100% say you're going to beat all the smaller teams and beat the teams around you, these games you need to occasionally get a point, maybe a shock win, but once again, less possession. We need to look into this. And I've looked at the calendar, guys, and we don't win against Newcastle. We lose that game in the 82nd minute, and against Villa, we lose in the 72nd minute. So this is really not good enough. We have dropped down 5 places in the Premier League. I mean, the results we do get is a 2-0 win over Everton, which is something, I suppose. But I mean, the game against Leeds, not acceptable. A point there. Forest was a good win. Wolves was a good win. But when you're losing the games against, which, again, I'm not expecting a miracle, but when you've got these 3 games here, you need to be getting something against a Newcastle, something against a Villa, and definitely not slipping up to Leeds, as now we are actually the 5th best at scoring goals and the 7th best at conceding goals. So Liam Delap doing his thing, to be fair. He is our top goal scorer. 13 appearances, 6 goals. Maybe he will prove me wrong and get that 18. He's actually pretty much on track to do so. So, I mean, I'm not going to say the players are doing an awful job. If we actually go and put in the best 11 right now, we can see that, for example, Bellingham actually got sent out on loan, which wasn't my choice. It was the board's choice. He's going to be going to Leicester in the Championship, and he is absolutely cooking. 11 goals, 5 assists. Now, that was agreed when I went on holiday. I would never have done that decision, but also I'm not going to use the editor or anything and get him back, because it's happened. That is football. Sometimes the decisions are made above you, and we've got to work around it. Things are looking a lot more positive now, because after that win against Wolves, which obviously was a bit of a saving grace for that last batch of games, we are actually going to go away to Fulham and start off really, really strong. A great goal inside of 3 minutes, and it is that man Fernandes again. He's almost our Bruno Fernandes. Bidstrup is then going to find Fernandes, plenty of space through into Tyler Dibbling, who has been such a good player for us, and he is going to make it 2 just off the post before half-time, and things are looking very, very strong, as Harwood Bellis is going to find Bidstrup, plenty of space on the ball, into Yodozi, takes on his man, and to finalise this game 3-0, it's going to be none other than Archer. And these are the games that are more like it. These are the points that I'm talking about, okay? Because we actually managed to scrape a point against Manchester United, and I will say, one of the most boring games a fan could go and watch. Very equal in terms of possession, hardly any shots, and the only action that happened was a Kyle Walker-Peters yellow card, but I will take the point. This is really not acceptable, because we are going to let Rodrigo Ribeiro score not even a hat-trick, 4 goals against us in a 4-0 loss against Brentford. Now, Brentford aren't exactly the worst team in the world, okay, but to lose 4-0 is absolutely ridiculous. We literally offered nothing the entire game, apart from now, magically, we've got more possession. You know, the team that didn't have any possession, which I said, has now got nearly 60%, but we can't score a goal, and we're conceding 4. And the first game in the FA Cup, we are going to face up against Nottingham Forest, and it is a great start from Zafarias to make it 1-0 inside of 19 minutes. But Nottingham Forest are going to bounce back and get an equaliser in the 70th minute. Alanga down the right-hand side, just no one closing him down, and it's an easy goal. Do you know what? It's a good finish, but it's an easy goal from Gibbs White, and sadly, things aren't going well at the club at the moment. Dominguez is going to play a wonderful ball over the top into Gibbs White again, who's going to go through and win and make them progress. We are out of all English Cups. So yeah, we are out of every single English Cup now, the FA Cup and of course the Carabao Cup second round. The one positive, well, I guess it's a very small positive, we have somewhat recovered some points back after that. Now, we go instantly and bounce back against Bournemouth, to be expected. Brighton, we lost against at the first game of the season, so getting a point here is okay. Arsenal, I'm not expecting anything. This is what I'm happy about, because we get over the line against Sunderland, which, to be honest, shouldn't be that difficult. But this game here, again, is really big, because we led the game for, you know, pretty much the whole game until the 96th minute, where Szoboszlai does get an equaliser. But if you look at this game here, it's a point against United, it's a point against Liverpool. They're 2 points that no one would bet on us to have, okay? So they're really, really big results. We then go and absolutely smash West Ham and also Palace, and we currently have got ourselves back into 7th place, which is, you know, quite a fair bit of progression. Now, the fact we're out of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, of course, will not please the board, but hopefully, and this comes down to me actually getting the job done, is I am hoping, because we've got not as much stress in cups, we can actually almost try and finish maybe in the top 7, the top 8, something like that, because I do genuinely think taking that strain off, that pressure off the players, is nothing but a good thing, because we don't really have the squad to obviously do it in terms of competing in 3 competitions at the moment. The players that are performing very well are going to be your Delaps, are going to be your Marmoushas. Obviously, Bellingham out on loan, he's having a decent time, 16 and 6. Do you know what? Maybe I will recall him. He's doing such a good job. Walker-Peters, 1 and 5. I mean, it's not too bad here at all. Some really, really strong performances. But once again, we're a team that are not the best at anything. So we're not really going to work our way into the top 4, I don't imagine. There already is a 10-point gap from where we are to obviously the top 4 placements. And if you actually look, there's only 2 points between us and Aston Villa. Apart from Aston Villa, there's a bit of a gap actually forming to the top 7. So if we can stay consistent in these next batch of games against Newcastle, Everton, Tottenham, I mean, we've got some tough ones, some quite tough games, but if we can probably win, I don't know this as a fact, but if we can win maybe half of these games, get a point in some of the others, I think we'll be fine to actually finish in 7th, which will be a big European boost. So let's get into the next batch of games. We've got Newcastle at home, which is never an easy task. I can only imagine they've improved again. De Zerbi in charge is definitely an upgrade, I imagine, at this stage of the game. Isaac Gordon, Can Uzun, Bargi, Tonali, yeah, they've gone absolutely rogue. They've got an incredible team. They've got a great stadium, a great bunch of fans. That will be a tough one. We are right into that game against Newcastle, because I've looked at the teams around us, and Aston Villa have got some easy games coming up, so they're the only real threat to push us out of that 7th place, and we need to win this game really, and it is a great start from Dibbling inside of 27 seconds. We're then going to try and play out from the back with Zafarias, find and Bidstrip. This is about 20 minutes after that goal. He finds Fernandez, and Delap is in absolute acres. We are going to lead the game 2-1 before even the first half ends, and the only other goal to come from this game is a consolation from Newcastle. So this is a real big set of 3 points. A great goal from them, but we take all 3 points home. And we also go on to finally beat Tottenham in some form of competition. And I tell you what, I'm really happy with the players here, because obviously they went 1-0 up, we then bounced back, they then went 2-1 up, we bounced back and also went on to win it. And it is going to be the Liam Delap show. So far, the big teams that we're playing, we're doing well. As long as we're doing okay with the sort of smaller teams around, we could honestly be on for a top 6 here. This is a serious statement. We are also getting a point against Man City, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty confident we're going to have some form of European football. It was a game which was actually quite even apart from the possession, and I think, just based off them past few results, we might be in the Europa League. No, we're not. We finished in 10th place, and I'm going to go and show you one of the biggest bottles I have seen, okay? Look at the red down here. So let's just remember where we were, okay? So we obviously beat West Ham, we beat Palace. We finalised the last bit of this video against Newcastle. We went and beat Newcastle. We then lose to Everton. We conceded in the 8th minute and couldn't respond. We then beat Tottenham. We then lose against Chelsea, which is fair game. It is what it is, because we bounce back against Man City. We get a point. We then lose to Nottingham Forest. Can't even get a goal there. We beat Leeds, which is brilliant. We then lose against Villa, which was the team that we couldn't lose against. Then we lose to Wolves. We draw to Fulham, and we lose to United. So the last 4 games we played, we got 1 point from. And that dropped us down this table for absolute fun. Villa actually ended up with a 10-point advantage over us. The team that had, what, a 2-3 point gap behind us, that is, we had a 2.3 gap on them. They come back and completely wipe the floor with us. And I mean, Michael Carrick is doing a great job here. They've got a fantastic team, but their schedule, they must have been... Yeah, look at them. That's what they're doing. And they're in an FA Cup final. They turned up big time, obviously beating Wolves. They beat Man City in extra time. They beat us. They got a point against Fulham. They beat United. They beat Bournemouth. They've been doing... I mean, this is nearly... We're talking some serious results from this Michael Carrick team. So... They are a good opposition, but it's the fact that now we've made no progress. We're in 10th place again. You've got Wolves who finished above us as well. Liverpool is completely fine. In fact, all the teams above us, apart from Wolves and Villa, are acceptable teams. Villa is an acceptable team to be above us, but because we had them behind us for so long, that is why it is so painful. Now, as a team, we aren't up there, okay? We're the 7th best at scoring goals, the 10th best at conceding goals. This is probably a fair finish, but I think going out so early in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup was almost like a signal to say, this is your chance to work your way up the league. And the fact we haven't done that now puts so much more pressure on us going out of these two cups. If we would have finished in 7th, in 6th, we could be like, yeah, we didn't do well in the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, but we're in the Europa League next year. We're in nothing now, and I look at the players, and I mean, we'll go by the best 11, and I've really got to rethink this, I think. Bellingham needs to come back. He will come back next season. He's had a fantastic year in the Championship, where I imagine he probably has helped Leicester get promoted. Can we actually go and have a little look at the league table? They are, so he has played a big part there. The top goal scorer, you know what I mean? He's a big addition to them, so he will definitely come back into the team. Dibbling, 10 goal contributions. Diaz, 6. 11 from Marmouche. Delap, 16 goal contributions. That's quite good. You know, almost the players that got loaned out done a better job. Sagawa done okay at right back. Walker-Peters done okay, but I'm saying the word okay quite a fair bit because it's the only word to really describe this system and the players that are sort of in it. It's really not, you know, when you don't progress in the Premier League, it's never really a great feeling. Now, in terms of money, we have got £52 million to spend. The debts is obviously still going to be there, but unless we want to keep staying in 10th place, or even, I don't want to say it, but go down a few more places, we need to go and spend money. And when you ask me, Josh, where are you going to spend this money? That you could argue every position, okay? Maybe not attack a midfield player, but then is Bellingham going to go? That's going to be it. We could actually do with 2 players in that position, really, because Bellingham can also potentially... There's not a world where we don't have 2 AMs. I might even change the tactic up a little bit. So we are sort of on the eye out for another really good attacker midfield player because we might change tactic. But apart from that, I would argue... we need improvement everywhere, so let's go in and really evaluate what we've got to do. In terms of the contract situation, similar to the last time, we have got a lot of players that we are going to try and deal with, and at the end of the day, hopefully we can keep those that we need to and get rid of those that we need to lose. Right, well, despite having a decent season, we are going to cash in on Cameron Archer because I do feel like 4.8 million is going to be probably the most we're going to get for him, despite paying 18.5. He's not playing tons and tons of games, and at the end of the day, I just think the more years that goes on here, the less we're going to get for him when it comes to selling him. We're also going to wave goodbye to Paul, none other reason than he is 34 years of age. He goes to Stoke after a decent season at Derby, to be fair. I'm surprised they didn't buy him, but Stoke have got a decent striker there. Signing number 1 is going to be that attacking midfield player that I think we need alongside of Joe Bellingham. Jude would be very nice to have into the team, and maybe a player that we might even change the tactic for. We actually pick him up on the free, which is exactly why he is going to come in. Now, this player wouldn't be my necessarily go-to signing. For example, I wouldn't spend 60 million on him, but on the free, we've got a player here who is quick, good anticipation, good dribbling, good first touch, good passing, good technique, and he's also very versatile. And 26 isn't young, but is an elite attacker midfield player. And at the end of the day, I think when you get him for free and we're only paying his wage, you can't really go wrong. The permanent deal for Bidstrup has gone through. It was actually done last season. The funding was taken anyway, but he comes in for 32.5 million, and I don't think you're going to find much better on the market that wants to join a 10th place team and is as good as someone like Mads Bidstrup. He's a player that I always pick up when I can, and for me, will do a great job, and another elite midfielder. And to occupy him, we are going to welcome in Angel Alarcon, I believe so you say that. He is going to come in a good Premier League player, and I tell you what, Angel hopefully is going to be that bit more attacking quality than sort of what we've got. I hope he comes in, he can be a star Premier League player. He's got the pace, he's got the fitness, he's got the flair, and I tell you what, in terms of finishing and composure, he also might get some game time up front, because there is a world where I switch to maybe a narrow 4-treble-2, for example, where he might play up front. Then we can play Tillman and also Joe Bellingham. But for the next season, I think we are going to stick with what we have got, and the team is going to look a bit like this. So as you can see, this front four, in my opinion, has changed tenfold now, because you have got a serious player in Ango on the left-hand side. Dibbling is really playing well. Tillman, Marmouche, you've also got Delap there. You've got Bellingham, who's also back in the team. You've then got Zafarias, Bidstrup. The back line is still up for debate, but when these players were available on the market, so for example, when Tillman's available on the market, he won't be a free agent. He will not be a free agent for long. I had to act, and I acted and got the job done. The same for the likes of Angel. He would have been picked up as well. I had to get the deal done, and therefore we did exactly that. I'm a lot more confident in terms of this team, in terms of actually progressing in the Premier League. And I think, considering we have now spent, 31 million here, 32.5 million on him now officially, and also paying the wage for Tillman, we sort of have to progress. Again, the same competitions, the same stress, the same sort of stuff going on, and we are now predicted to finish one place above where we did last season, which for me wouldn't be good enough. I want to at least get Conference League football at a bare minimum. Ideally, we'd say Champions League, but things have got to go in our favour. Now, I have gone and played just one friendly so far. That was a game against Lech, where we do win 3-1, a bit of an easier game. Goals from Marmouche, Sagara, and also Bidstrup. We've got some pretty easy friendly games before we take on Man City in the first game of the season. That is never nice to see, but let's get into the next year. Positive vibes, and hopefully we can see a bit of an improvement. We just need to make sure we don't do this again. You cannot end a season like this. It is not good enough. So after going invincible in the friendlies, I actually felt maybe a little bit of confidence going in against City, and our first game in the Premier League, we are going to lose 5-2. This is not going to be a good season, is it? Because we follow that game up and we get a point against Everton. They're a team which, at this stage of the rebuild, we should be beating. I'm looking at their team right now, and maybe their backline's better. But with the team that we've got, this incredible front four, how can we not score? Finally, a win on the board as we take on Burnley next, and I tell you what, if we didn't beat Burnley and Everton, then we would be looking at a serious issue. But luckily we get the job done, and it is going to be Marmouche, who has been such a good player for us ever since he's signed, and also Zafarias, to be fair. Burnley offered absolutely nothing. They had more possession, which I don't actually like, because they're not a possession team. Our first game in the Carabao Cup, the first competitive leg, and it is against Exeter, so I'm going to be honest, it's going to be a bit of an easy fixture, I say, as Delap goes through and it is a rocket of a finish into the top left-hand corner, and I'm not going to lie to you, it was a very, very easy game, as we go on and get the winner in around about the 76th minute. Wrench is going to find Flynn Downs, who just has so much time, and he just drives into so much space. It was a very easy game. After that, we do get another 3 points against Leeds, and we do progress again in the Carabao Cup. I mean, it is against AFC Flies, who are 20th in the Sky Bet League 2, so I mean, we are getting quite blessed. That was actually an 8-goal thriller where, Liam Delap with a hat-trick. We love to see that. Really good to see. We beat Leicester, which is really good. Obviously, Joe Bellingham's loanee team. We lose against Liverpool, which is not good, but it's acceptable because it's Liverpool, because we get a point against Tottenham. So at least we've sort of gained some points here, which we shouldn't have really been got, since we really haven't been got, doesn't even make sense. Since we haven't usually gotten, can't talk then, what is going on? And then against Man City, obviously this is Man City. It happens all the time. Everton, disappointing, but this point here does make up a little bit for it. But despite what I'm going to say, isn't even like a horrific start to the season. We are still only 9th place, but if you look at the points, I mean, one win can have us literally easily in the top 4, so we're not going to worry too much. Going forwards, we are playing Manchester United next, then Fulham, then Wolves in the Carabao Cup 4th round, and I think we're now at a point of the season, or this rebuild should I say, where I want to start being able to at least get to maybe like a semi-final and also be competitive in the Prem. I think our front line is really impressive. It's just about gelling it together. So we have had some pretty stinky games, to be honest with you, in the Premier League. The one positive of this sort of season so far is despite going 1-0 down here in this very, very tough game in the Carabao Cup, we find a way back into the game very late on with a penalty from Fernandes, who is going to step up and stick it into the top right hand corner. And as you can see from the left of the screen, we actually do go on to win this penalty shootout, which is quite impressive because at the end of the day we've had some penalty shootouts in our time and they have never gone that well. And to think that we actually missed our first penalty, you know, things weren't looking great for us, but Delap steps up. It's a great penalty. Endo steps up, one of the more weaker penalties I think I have ever seen in my life. Armstrong is then going to step and slot it into the top left-hand corner. And I tell you what, this was a great penalty from Fernando. Rocket of a penalty. Fair play to the Wolverhampton player there. Gomez steps up, great penalty into the same area. And this is where it went wrong for Wolves. One of the most trusted players, he misses from the spot, and we are going to progress. But when I said that was one of the few positives, it really was one of the few positives, because after this impressive Tottenham game, we actually go on to, well, we lose against Southampton against Manchester United, which, again, I know United are United. They're a team who have got Emery in charge now. That's a quick switch up. They've got a really good manager in charge, but they're a team that we have been able to get points off, okay? In the past few seasons, we've got points off them countless times. And at the end of the day, I think when you can do it with a weaker team, there's no excuse to not do it now with a stronger team, but it is what it is. This isn't acceptable, though. A loss against Fulham. Obviously, we watch this game here. We then get a point against Forest. We do beat Wolves, which is good, but then we lose to Brentford 2-1 again. That is now 2 losses against Brentford. Brighton, we're going to lose against Brighton. This is where it's somewhat okay, because we beat Newcastle, we beat Chelsea, we beat Cardiff. And this game against Chelsea and this game against Newcastle, if they would have been even draws, this would have been a completely different conversation, because we would not be in 8th place like we are. We blitzed Cardiff, which was to be expected, and the next game is against Tottenham in the quarter-finals already of the Carabao Cup. Now, we do sit in 8th place in the Premier League, which is, again, an improvement at the moment from last season, but as you can see, it is so close. There is 3 teams, including us, in the 24-point sort of area. You have then got hardly any points to work into the European places, and also, I mean, Liverpool in 15th are only a win and a point away. So, I mean, everything is super close. As it stands, Everton, Leicester, and, well, Cardiff are going to go down. Cardiff are going to go down, I think. Johnny Jackson in charge. Their team is just nowhere near ready to be in the Premier League, and unfortunately Leicester are in that same boat because they don't have a world-class Joe Bellingham in the team anymore. So let's carry on. So far though, our players, Marmoush is really leading the line. He's doing a great job. Tillman's also doing a fantastic job. In terms of Delap, he's doing okay. 5 goals, 2 assists. In terms of Bellingham, we will go and have a little look at Job, wherever he is in the team. He's actually out on loan again because he wasn't getting game time. 3-3, and he is going to be on loan once again at Leicester, and they're still in the relegation. Job just wasn't getting the game time that, to be honest, he probably deserves, but when someone like Tillman comes on the market, I'm not going to say no, because at the moment he is the better player, and maybe next year we can get Joe back, because he can play a bit deeper, so maybe we can lock him in, for example, into a deep line playmaker role, because I do want him as the future of the team, but at the moment it's all about just getting some progression in the tank. So then, serious action, the Carabao Cup quarter-final and a chance to actually make it to a semi-final of an English Cup, which I think we've done once in one of the first seasons, and it's not looking great. It's a great goal from Tottenham Hotspur, but luckily, our new man is about to make a big statement. Bidstrup is going to drive at the back line, he's going to play it out into Dibbling, who cuts inside, a ball through into Tillman, and we are back into the game, and just like the last game, we are going to penalties once again. This time against a much better team. Torres steps, it's a great penalty into the bottom left-hand corner. Diaz is going to step up, and he is also going to place it into the bottom left-hand corner. We are then going to see Harder step, and it is a hard penalty into the bottom left corner. Is everybody going to go in the same place? He's not. Fernandez is going to switch it up and go into the bottom right corner. Pedro Porro, fantastic penalty into the top right. Tillman, the new man, please don't miss. He misses. That is not a good way. Not a good season, or not a good season. It's not a good way to introduce yourself. His confidence will be absolutely butchered. And now we're going to have Angel, another new signing, who does step up. He does score. But because of Tillman, sadly, we're out. So yeah, we are going to unfortunately go out to Tottenham in the quarterfinals, which, you know, it's a decent run, but it would have been nice to get to the semis. We then get a point against Villa, which isn't horrific. But again, we've got to be careful we don't keep just getting points and points and points. We start to need to, you know, get 3 points like we did against West Ham. A good game there. A point against Arsenal really does make up for the point against Villa. A win against Everton, all that being in the 95th minute. A win against Man City, Tillman with 2 goals, sort of making up for the penalty miss. And then we actually do quite well against Watford, putting us through to the next stage of the FA Cup, as we do beat them 2-0, which is probably expected, but at the moment, I don't feel like anything's expected with this current team, as we then go and lose against Leeds. So the hard work we've done against City, against Arsenal, sort of gets unpackaged and unrailed because we lose against Leeds. But as you can see at the wonderful top of the screen, as it stands, we are in 5th place. Next stage of the FA Cup coming up. So then the FA Cup 4th round against Luton Town. Now, we have been blessed a couple of easy games now. I will be honest with you. Watford, Luton, easier games, and Tillman is not messing about. He's got a point to prove now after what I said, and he is doing a great job of that. Zacharias also steps, and he is our designated free kick taker for a reason. He can absolutely bag them in. We've then got Angel going down the right-hand side, a little switch of the wings today, and he is going to play a big part in getting the 3rd and final goal of this game. Great assist to Zacharias. We're through. And from that point onwards, things are looking good. A win against Leicester, a win against Liverpool away, Tillman again, who is... We're going to look at him in a second because he's making a statement. He really is. We beat Tottenham at home and we beat Burnley. So we have picked up 3 points, 6 points in fact, from Liverpool and Tottenham. 2 games that we should never be getting points in. Or maybe a point is what I'm expecting now. But this man here, a leading Premier League player, he is... Look at him, 10 goals, 5 assists, 7.26 average rating. He has handled that penalty miss so well because a lot of players really gets to him. He has brushed it off and he has just taken the form and run with it. Great performance here, a big goal here against Tottenham as well. And I tell you what, after seeing these 2 results, I've got a bit of me that thinks we might actually do something against United. We've got United coming up, we've got Fulham, Nottingham Forest, Wolves. We've actually got a bit of an easier end to the season than last time, and as it stands, we are in 5th place. So a bit of a gap is forming from 5th to 8th, which of course is the European places. I would be really annoyed at myself if we do let this go, because I think we are doing a great job. Speaking of a great job, Dominic Baum, the highest average rating player in this team, dropping a 7.32, which is really, really strong. And talking of strong performers, take your pick, because we have got Tillman doing a great job, Marmouche, 17 goals this year. Angel's doing okay, but not as good as what I thought. Sagawa is really playing well at right back. Fernandez, 3 and 4. Bellingham having an okay season out on loan. One player that we are going to talk about is Mr. Delap, because only 7 goals this year because Marmouche is doing a great job, and only one of them goals actually being in the Premier League, because this man Marmouche is just on complete takeover at the moment. Despite having some down arrows, he is actually playing pretty well. So let's carry on. We've got a bit of the season left, and yeah, we might actually end up ending the video in a European place. You're about to witness absolute history, okay? Because this game against Manchester United started off in one of the worst ways you can ever imagine. An incredible finish from Joshua Zirkzee, but you're about to see a generational bottle from one of the best teams in England. A great ball in from Zafarias, and how this even got allowed to be played back into the box, I will never know. Great play, Marmoush equalises in 21 minutes. Literally, and I mean about 70 seconds afterwards, a minute afterwards, Diaz goes down the left-hand side into Tillman. That is such a good turn right there, and we are going to take the lead already at 2-1, and it gets even worse for United. 3 minutes after that, Harwood Bellis down the left-hand side, really out of his depth, and luckily we win that ball back because we would have been countered. Zafarias strikes, and that is now going to be 3-1. And yes, there is a world where it gets even worse for United. Literally about 2 minutes after that, we're going to go and win this game 4-1, all before 30 minutes. This result is massive. We also pick up 3 points against Fulham, literally in back-to-back games. So finally, we're not letting the sort of real good work being unfolded by Botland against a bit of a smaller team. A serious win in the FA Cup 5th round, and a big statement made around all the teams around us, as we are going to progress 5-1 over Bristol Rovers. Now, it was a game that if I did lose, I would be quite worried, but I mean, 11 shots on target, 23 overall, and you know the best thing? We've got Lincoln up next. Let's go and watch the thrashing. So then the FA Cup quarter-final and pretty much a guaranteed semi-final. I mean, I'm not being funny, it's Lincoln. How they've got here, fair play to them. We're already going to go 1-0 up inside of a minute. But what happens next is pretty unexpected, because Lincoln start playing the ball about like a prime Barcelona. That is incredible skill from I don't know how you say that. A great ball through. That is awful though from Harwood Bellis. Needs to stop that cross coming in. It's going to be a great goal from them, and they actually, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Lincoln actually take the lead inside of 27 minutes. Vincent plays it through, and we find ourselves 2-1 down against Lincoln. And it takes us all the way until the 76th minute, where it's a penalty of all things to get us back into the game. And this game goes to extra time. And I can't believe I'm even going to say this ever on a YouTube channel. We lose against Lincoln 3-2 in extra time. That is right. We have lost against Lincoln 3-2 in extra time. Lincoln being the team 24th, rock bottom pretty much. Yeah, they are rock bottom by a lot as well. In the championship, we've been beaten by them. It's as simple as that. The rest of the schedule, there's also a couple of disappointment things happen. I mean, in the middle of that Bristol game, we did get 6 points from the likes of Forest and also Wolves. We then lose against Lincoln, and no wonder why the morale's down. We then lose against Brentford and also Brighton. And I mean, these were games which, if this result went differently, maybe the confidence would have been better. We would have won. Luckily, we have somewhat recovered ourselves, and we did beat Newcastle, and we still are just in the top 4. But Man City have got a game in hand, you know, so have Chelsea. So this is really going to go down to the last sort of games of the season, where actually we do play Chelsea. We play Cardiff, who are 20th, Villa, who are 7th, West Ham, who are 10th, and Arsenal, who are 2nd. A job that should have been made a bit easier by beating Brentford and Brighton is now made difficult. This is going to be a big last month of football. Well, this is a pretty interesting result, because the two teams that are really battling in that mix, Chelsea is a very tough one to beat, and although we went a goal up, so I could be annoyed, I'm just happy we got something from it. As we do go on to actually beat Cardiff after that game 4-0, and Marmoush doing Marmoush things. It's a hat-trick in about a 10-minute period. And this should finalise, hopefully, a very comfortable end to the season. In fact, I think we can actually afford to lose one of the last 2 games now, and we've guaranteed at least top 6 football. That is a very big result, and let's get ready for it now in 3, 2, 1. We are in 5th place, so I believe we still might have qualified for the Champions League though, because somebody else won a cup, if I'm right in saying. Hopefully, because the last 2 games were both losses. But let's go and see. 5th, UCL. We are in the UCL now. That is a big end to the video. Yes, we didn't officially get the top 4, but we do qualify for the Champions League, which is more than we could ever imagine. Marmoush is just, well, quite a fair few, but a very strong performance from him. in the Premier League, Ramsdale the most clean sheets, and Sagara also the most assists from right back. So a very, very, very strong season. We are miles off, beating Manchester United, who, fair play to them, under Emery have been nothing short of incredible. You've got Arsenal in second, City in third, Newcastle in fourth, and we make up the last position there in the top 5. Fulham, Leicester, Cardiff are going to go down. And I look at Leicester right now, and I'm just checking there's no Evan Nilsson. That could be tempting. Dorgu as well. You've got Christiansen. You've got some players in there that I might try and poach, to be honest. I mean, the likes of Cardiff haven't really got anyone. Fulham, have they got any good players? They have got the likes of Maduake, could be quite tempting. Smith, does he look quite good? He looks all right, nothing too electric. They've got some decent players, so we are going to sort of potentially, take full advantage of the teams going down. And yeah, I mean, it's a very, very strong end to the video, and we're nowhere near done this challenge yet. The challenge is to win a treble, and we've only just got into the Champions League, so hopefully you are enjoying the series, but it is a serious season here for some of these players. Marmoush, I'm going to give the player of the video. Bidstrup also done very well. Tillman, probably joint player of the video actually. He done really well. Dibbling, also playing really, really well. In fact, our best 11, let's go and have a little look. That is the best 11. Sagawa, Tillman, Angel, Marmoush. This man here, I want to see a bit more from because I think he has got it in the tank. He just needs to show it a bit more. And we need to decide what we're going to do with Joe Bellingham because he's a great player, 23 years of age. I might lock him in as a DLP. That probably is going to be the aim we're going to go down. And I think next season, we've got 55 million to spend. I think we're going to have to look at maybe improving the back line a bit because I think this attack and front line we've got, you've got Sagawa who can play there, Tillman. Say we keep Sagawa as a right mid and we sign another right back. You can then have Sagawa, Tillman, Angel, Marmoush. You've then got Diaz, you've got Delap, you've got Bellingham. You've got really good players that we can use. Maybe another backup midfield player potentially. I think Ramsdale's good to go for another year. He definitely is. He's doing really well. So a bit of pressure taken off there. But I think we can be happy with this, We're in the Champions League, which is really, really good to see. And it is a clear improvement. It's a 5-place improvement on the past season, which I'm very happy with. But this game here against Lincoln City, I don't ever want to watch back again because that was really, really bad. So next video, we're going to aim to try and, well, we're in the Champions League, so we'll try and do something in the Champions League. I don't think we're going to get that far, but, at least we can try and do something in there. And we'll try and, I guess, maintain Champions League in the Premier League and just try and get at least to a semi in one of these cups. But hopefully you have enjoyed the 3rd episode of this. Let me know what you think. I like doing one of these sort of projects in the middle of the week of the rebuilds because then we can have sort of 2 rebuilds a week or 3 rebuilds a week and one of these episodes, and it splits things up. It makes things a lot sort of easier to manage, and also I've had a lot of positive feedback on the episode version. So let me know what you think, and also comment below, what year do you think we are going to win the treble? It could be a long one. Hopefully you have enjoyed. If you do, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.